Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies, a podcast about people sharing extraordinary stories about how music has impacted their lives.
Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies. I'm your host, Annette Smith, and today we have a special guest, which is Ryan from an amazing podcast, right? 1,001 Songs That Make You Want to Die, which is hilarious. I absolutely love it. So thank you for joining us today. All the way from Australia, which is pretty cool.
Please excuse the accent.
Oh, I like the accent, though. How many girls have you picked up with that accent?
Not a whole lot. Not too many, because they all have the same one here.
You need to come to Canada. They'll scoop you up like your dinner.
I don't think my wife would be too happy about that one, but.
So Ryan, before we get started, I always like to ask, what was your experience putting your playlist together?
I'm a serial playlist maker. I'm always making playlists and top tens, and I'm just, my mind loves lists. I don't know why. I just love going through lists and making them. So it was very easy to make a top 10. It always frustrates me when I ask other people, you know, what's your top 10 or what's your favorite this or that? And they go, oh, I don't have a favorite. And it's like, how could you not have a favorite?
Yeah, I do find with music, for me, it's hard to find that favorite, but because I love everything.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
You know,
it's definitely, yeah. The ones that I picked, they're all very much important, top tier kind of things.
Good. I love it. So if you were to describe your playlist to somebody, how would you describe it?
It's eclectic. I think it's still, it's still very much middle class white boy, rock and pop stuff. But there's a few little curveballs in there, we'll say. Yeah,
there totally is, and it totally threw me for a loop. Right, I love to listen to the playlist well before the podcast, and today I was listening to it again, and I was like, this is so random. I'll be honest, I thought you were fucking punking me a couple times. I was like, hey, I know they have this podcast. Are they punking me? Like, am I going to be on their show saying, hey?
Well, that's the thing about the podcast. We talk about songs that are terrible, supposed to be terrible, but even worst ones, there's some value in them because they're hits. We do kind of we have to put it on a little bit to make fun of some of the stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, you ready? We're going to start with your first song.
All right.
Some Beatles. Oh, yes, of course. And now we have technical difficulty, right? So you had some technical difficulty. Now I have some technical difficulty.
All
right, we'll get it going. So the song is the Beatles. It won't be long. What is your memory behind that song while I can get it going here?
This is one of the first times, probably one of the first times I've ever aware of music, because we had a CD player. It's pretty new at the time, and someone bought my parents a gift as a bit of a joke. It was Bugs Bunny and Friends Sing the Beatles. So it was like Bugs Bunny singing She Loves You and Elmer Fudd singing It Won't Be Long and that kind of stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
And that really blew my mind, because I was a big Looney Tunes fan and everything. And then I'd just turned me on to music, and obviously we're better to start with the Beatles. And then I went backwards and started listening to the Beatles more and finding the original songs. And it's been a lifelong obsession.
Yeah.
Probably my absolute favorite band. And I know every tiny little detail about them. I do a little cover band with some friends where we cover every Beatles song called Good Rocky's Revival. And,
no way.
It's just for the love of it. So yeah.
So obviously, are you the guitar player?
There's three of us, and we all share different parts of it. So mostly I play guitar, but I sing maybe about 50%. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of keyboards, but some of the other guys are better than me at that. Bass, whatever it needs, Yeah.
When did you first start playing a musical instrument? How old were you?
I was 13, I think, when I started playing piano, seriously. I took lessons and everything like that. And that was funny because I started fairly late for piano, and all the other kids were younger than me and doing better. I'd be at the recitals and the tallest kid there and doing the same songs as all the little toddlers. But yeah, piano was my first thing.
Yeah. Was your family right into music? Did they play instruments? Did they come from that kind of background?
Not as a career or anything. My dad played drums as a kid,
cool.
and he gave it away, but he'd always banging on surfaces and stuff like that, and that sort of must have leaked into my brain a little bit. And my mum, the family piano was sort of hers from when she was young, so that was, I think they had a lot of piano in their lives. And I just found out very recently that my great granddad was the piano restorer and tuner. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That's not an easy job.
No, it's there's not much of a market for it anymore.
No, you definitely don't want to do that. I heard you got to come back like 5-10 times to do all the strings, and it's like you got to have some serious patience.
Yeah, it's very niche, but I could imagine, like, I obviously know how to tune a guitar and everything like that, and the theory is the same. It's a string across a board that you have to tighten or loosen to change the pitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot more of them.
Yeah, there is. I love it. All right, let's hope that this song works next. There we go. So Crowded House. Better be home soon.
Crowded House is a really, really popular band in Australia, but sort of not as much overseas. I know that you guys had like Don't Dream It's Over as the big hit, but they're incredible band. Neil Finn's the songwriter, and every song he does, I just think is the best. Not too far from the Beatles in that they're just great pop songs with great sort of writing. Obviously, you can tell the lineage. It comes straight from Lennon McCartney songwriting stuff. But yeah, that particular song, Better Be Home Soon. I think there's like like video footage of me as a little baby watching the TV, and that music video's on. So that has a bit, very special place in my heart, that one.
That's awesome. So what were you like growing up in high school? Were you a good boy, bad boy?
I was a good boy. Oh yeah.
You were?
Very good boy. But once music sort of came into my life, I liked the rebellious accent of it, and that's all. Like, no, I never went bad. I still stayed pretty angelic. But yeah, I just like, once music became my thing, that's all I cared about.
Yeah. So what kind of music did you listen to in high school?
All I cared about in high school was Metallica. Nothing but Metallica.
Yeah, I love it. So did you have long hair?
Yeah, maybe down to my shoulders. That was like the longest I've had. Never again, unfortunately.
Tight blue jeans and a jean jacket?
Yeah, that was all. Yeah, I love the 80s kind of aesthetic.
Yeah. Did you have lots of Metallica patches on your jacket?
No patches, but I had at one stage, my entire room was covered from top to tail in posters, because my uncle was a big fan as well, and he handed me down all the old posters, and yeah.
I love it. So who is your favorite bandmate in Metallica?
I'm a big fan of Jason, the old bass player, pre-Rob, the new guy, but James was my hero. I wanted to be James Hetfield for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, I was a drummer, so I like Lars, but I loved Metallica growing up. Yeah.
It was one of those things where as soon as I discovered that, it was very, very much like, Metallica is the best and nothing else stands up to it. And then I think in my head, I hate that other band or that other band. And then you just slowly listen to them properly and think, oh, there's actually other stuff out there. And then it just spread.
Yeah.
Like a wildfire. Yeah.
So Metallica, big influence on your guitar career. So would you say that your parents just love the fact that you love Metallica and practice guitar, or?
I think it's hard to say. I think they just sort of let me do my thing with that. I wasn't the kind of kid that was just like tearing down the walls with volume and everything like that, but I'd keep it pretty private. So yeah.
Yeah. So what was your first Metallica song that you learned on the guitar?
It was probably Nothing Else Matters, the old open strings up and down. But yeah, I sort of moved from piano to bass guitar actually first, because that's what I wanted to do. I figured all the guys in my high school playing guitar, and I needed to be invaluable.
Yeah.
So I started playing the bass. And then at the same time, I've always been like, I love challenging myself with other things. So I was always learning other guitar parts and everything else as well. And then I sort of got to the point where I was playing just as much guitar as bass, and then I sort of gave up on the bass. So yeah, that's where it went.
I love it. It's awesome. All right. Speaking of Metallica, I did this live. This live one is so good.
Yeah. This is S&M, which is the symphony orchestra concert they did, and that's what really started it for me. My friend had a copy of the DVD of the concert, and he lent it to me, and I just put it on, and it just blew my mind. Especially this song, "No Leaf Clover," because it has a lot of dynamics. It goes heaps loud and then heaps quiet, and I didn't know you could do that in music up until that point. And I have a very vivid memory of just laying awake in bed and just not being able to sleep because that music was just like
In your head.
rolling around in my head. And that's when I knew. I was like, yep, this is what I'm going to do.
I love it. So who do you think the biggest pussy in the band is?
It's Kirk. It's definitely Kirk.
Oh yeah, you would say?
Yeah.
I would say Lars, even though I like him as a drummer. I feel like he whines a lot.
I got a lot of respect for how much of a, like, it wouldn't be anything without him. He's very much like the entrepreneur of the band.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been going back and watching that's some kind of monster documentary. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm. That's where I got my point of view from.
Yeah. They all come across pretty rough in that, but I think it's a low point
in their career for sure. Is there any other kind of other bands that stood up 80s? Like if you think of all the crazy 80s bands back there, what frontman would you like to be or guitar player would you like to be?
In the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a little bit of a gap, I suppose.
Were you born in the 90s?
I was born in 87, so I missed a fair bit of that. My other big hero was Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters and everything. So if you put two frontmen together and made a me, I reckon it'd be those two.
I love it.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up, did you ever sneak out of the house when you were younger?
Not once, never.
Not once.
I told you I was a good boy.
You were so good.
Yeah, I think I was grounded once ever.
Wow, what were you grounded for?
I was using my phone in the car, which was a
big no-no.
Don't do that.
Do you have any pet peeves?
Oh man, many.
How about you give me two?
Pet peeves. I'm a big stickler for like grammar and spelling and everything like that. I can't stand when people use the wrong your or there or anything like that.
We would not do well together. I'm the worst speller in the planet.
I don't know. And I guess working in a guitar shop, that's what I do. I work in a guitar shop, and there's a lot of little things that bother me, especially people who sort of lean on spec instead of just like playing the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this one has this many mil nut and scale length and all that kind of stuff. And they expect me to be as interested in that as they are. And then they get the guitar and they can barely play chords. And it's like, people who overcompensate without putting in the time. That's another pet peeve, I think.
I think a lot of people that go to a music store do that a lot, right? And I would say mostly men grab a guitar off the wall, think like, oh my God, I'm amazing. Yeah. And then they read the internet before they got there. So they know. Oh yeah. That's
very dangerous. I'll say that's another pet peeve. People who believe everything they see on the internet and don't take the very small amount of time it takes to research like whether something is true or not.
Yeah. So how many oversells have you did on guitars with guys like that?
I try and be as honest as possible. I try and sort of like, I don't want to rip anyone off. I'm not that kind of guy. And it's, it's not my money that it's getting made anyway. So I just like to make sure they get what's right for them and what they can afford. So, yeah.
Wow, you're nice. Honestly, if somebody came in like that and was doing that, I'm like, you should probably buy this Gibson that's like $4,500. I know you're just starting, but you may as well start with one of the best.
Well, I do like to say you should get the best one that you can afford.
Yeah,
that's the best one's going to be the best one you can afford. So,
or put it on credit, whatever. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you walked up to me and handed it to me and said, "I'll take this," I wouldn't tell you no.
Yeah,
but
that's your choice. That's right. Okay, so now we're gonna run into where I kind of felt like maybe I was being punked a little bit. With a couple of these other songs that I've obviously never heard, but I actually thought you were just throwing them in there. Oh, Graceland. So it sounds like do you have some love for Graceland?
This is very recent, actually. I've just been like, this is my latest obsession is Paul Simon and especially the Graceland album. I just put it on all the time, and that song especially, I just love it. I don't know, it's the way he tells the story. It's like the little details, like he says he's what's it going up I think it's the Mason Dixon with his son or something like that. And just I don't know, I just love the storytelling. It's very evocative.
Do you have any children?
I have a 1-year-old son,
Oh,
Miles. Yeah, that's been a
nice.
very crazy adventure. And maybe that's why I'm enjoying this so much, because I can relate now.
Yeah. So new dad, 1 year old.
Yeah.
What are some things that Miles has taught you already?
Oh, it's the craziest thing is the pure joy he gets from just little things like seeing you for the first time that day, or after you come home from work, or if you put on his favorite show on TV or anything like that. I forgot that people are capable of having that much unfiltered joy.
Yeah.
And it's good because it brings it back into your life a little bit too.
Yeah. They're like puppies, right?
Yeah.
Where they're always so happy to see you. And then when they're 13, they want to like murder you. So
I'm looking forward to that too.
times.
Do you have kids as well?
I do. 24 and 26. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you finding, I have a colleague who has a 28-year-old son, and he was saying that age is great because they come back around from that sort of teen angst and start to see you as a human, and you can sort of relate as people after that. Are you finding that?
Yeah, I found when they moved out, and then that 18, 19, when they were living on their own, and then right when they hit 20, I think
moving out's the best thing you can
it's
do.
the best thing for every parent.
Put some distance between yourself and your parents.
The money pocketbook doesn't change, but at least they're out of the house, which is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found like our relationship just kind of, now it's on the next level. Actually, my daughter was the second episode I ever did on my podcast.
Oh, cool.
And then it took my son 50 episodes. I just did his podcast a couple of days ago.
Oh, nice.
So it was like really, really cool to do that, because you get to learn, obviously you ask them crazy questions, but you get to learn a little bit more in depth, maybe questions you wouldn't really ask just kind of sitting around. But we're very, very close. And like it's awesome. You're lucky to have a son first. Right. I think so anyways.
Yeah.
Especially when you're learning.
Next.
So what is one thing that maybe somebody doesn't know about you, Ryan?
Depends how well you know me, really. Let me have a think.
Do you collect anything?
Oh, I collect a lot of
What do you collect?
I collect guitars, obviously, as you can see behind me here.
I can.
I collect records. I'm a big fan of vinyl records, which has been kind of hard at the moment because I can't go to any of the shops because we've been locked down for about 3 months. For a little while, I collected like Marvel comics. I'm always like picking things to collect, and I sort of had to calm down a bit because it's you can only do so much. You can only spend so much money.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Spider-Man, no question. Love Spider-Man. Yeah, always have.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Next song. Queen of the Stone Age. That beginning riff is like one of my favorites. I just love it.
Not my favorite band of all time, like close, but not. I still think that's the best song ever written. It's perfect.
Yeah, I love the beginning.
When I listen for a song, I listen for if it grooves well, if the chords are great, and if the lyrics are good. And that has all three, I think. It's just perfect. And it's like structurally perfect, and it just takes you on a little journey. Oh, I can't talk well about it enough.
I love it. I love that you feel that way, because I'm a huge believer, and some people aren't, but I'm a big believer that you can capture my intention with music in like the first like 3 seconds. I will know if I like a song. I just am like that.
Okay.
And that song, just the beginning, I knew right away that I was going to like it.
It's compelling, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it for sure. So have you ever accidentally hit somebody with your car before?
No, I haven't. I've had car accidents, but I've never hit someone. I always think about what I would do in that situation. I do not know. Let's hope it never happens.
I had a girlfriend that actually was on the phone, probably drinking, having a cigarette, and ran into somebody in a McDonald's line.
Oh,
And
what a nightmare. I don't think I could live with myself. Like it would just haunt me, I think.
yeah, and she actually lost her license for like 2 years over it.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
don't know what I'd do without a license either.
No, I don't know. So how long have you been married for?
Uh, 4 years.
4 years.
3 years,
How,
4 years.
how long
2017.
how long have you guys known each other for? Have you known each other for a long time or?
This is our 10th year of knowing each other. We met
Nice.
at
That's awesome.
we met at uni, studying music, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just easy. We lived together for a bit, and then we moved back to my hometown, which is Wollongong, New South Wales, and basically just set up a little home and family, and that was it.
Yeah. So you went to school together, you asked her out on a date. How long from the first date to the sack?
Oh man, I don't know, maybe like a month. I can't remember.
She made you work for it.
Yeah.
So is your plan to have lots of babies or you just want one?
I think we'll stop at 2, but our hands are very full with the one, so we're not ready for another one yet.
Yeah.
We've
You don't
discussed it
want
together.
them to like dominate the house, right? Like there's 2 of you, 2 kids are good. I just had a friend of mine on the podcast yesterday and she has 7 children.
Oh, I can't
Okay,
even
so
imagine. Like the little moments of peace that you get are precious. And if every time you have another baby, that multiplies or
yeah.
diminishes the amount
So
of free time you have.
Can you
So,
imagine having 4 and then you're like, you know what? Maybe we should try for one more and you get triplets. Could you
oh God,
imagine? That's a
I think
nightmare.
I think once you've hit a peak, maybe 4 is the magic number. That's
Yeah.
when like any more is just diminishing returns, and you've already used up all your all your spare time and
That's
room
right.
and everything. Yeah.
It's 2 against 1 now. Like
Yeah,
it's
they
it's
start
too
stacking
much.
on top instead of out.
That's right. I love it. All right, some Paul McCartney. I love it. Can I watch this video today? For some reason, I just wanted to watch the video, and the video is actually really cool.
It's funny what everything we've just kind of talked about sort of leads into the song, funnily enough, because we used to play this to Kirsten, my wife's belly all the time, just pretty much every day. The little headphones on the belly kind of thing, that song, and we'd feel him kick and everything because of that song. Because it's kind of, I think the song's about, loving a baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think,
such-
yeah, it's just a beautiful song. Paul McCartney, I just like of all the solo Beatles stuff, his stuff is my favorite.
Yeah. So you and your wife are in a band together. What's the band called again? Sorry.
We're called the Record Breakers.
Oh, I
And it's all
love it.
covers. We only do covers in this band. But yeah, we play weddings and
So
that
your
kind of
wife
stuff.
sings, or
Yeah, she
oh, that's
sings.
awesome.
I play guitar. I'll sing as well. Sort of, I'll take a few, but we do harmonies and that kind of stuff. And yeah, we also have percussion most of the time. So it's usually a 3-piece, and then sometimes we'll expand it out to a band as well.
I love that. So obviously you're not doing it right now,
No,
unless
it's
you're
been a
doing it
while,
over
actually.
Zoom.
No, when in our first lockdown last year, we did it maybe 1 or 2 sort of Facebook Live, but we just haven't had much time at all for anything like that
Yeah,
since then. Yeah,
that's a great thing
I'm
to
out of
do it
practice, I
with
think.
your spouse, right? Do you
Yeah,
guys
well,
like
we used
sing
to
together all the time?
joke that was the kind of the only time we had together because we both work full time. That gigs was our kind of like together time. We
Yeah,
don't do a lot of practicing at home. I would love to do more, but that's just how it is.
it's life. That's life.
Mm.
So you do this podcast about the worst songs in the planet.
Mm.
What has been the worst song you've heard so far?
There's been heaps actually, because we get to rate them at the end out of 10.
Yeah.
We do this reverse scale where 10 is the worst and 1 is the best. I think I'm probably the most generous with my 10s
Yeah.
of all the guys. But I try and keep it pretty impartial. I can't stand a song that's like lazy and badly written. But yeah, I think probably the worst one is I think our rated worst one is Last Friday Night by Katy Perry.
There's a lot of lazy songs out there now.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's just like, I get there's appeal. I get the appeal, but it just doesn't tick the boxes that I find entertaining, you know.
I agree. Yeah. So some Foo Fighters. I actually have never really gotten into the Foo Fighters before. So like I was grateful that you had this on your playlist because I actually got to listen to some of them, but I've never really been exposed to them too much.
That one's a fairly deep cut. That's like just an album track. A lot of people sort of rag on Foo Fighters for being, you know, releasing the same singles over and over, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if you dig a little deeper, they've got some pretty good stuff, especially early in the career. I don't know, just that one I like because it's got that quiet, loud dynamic and it's just catchy as some good riffs and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's called My Poor Brain. It's off The Color and the Shape, which is a perfect album. It's my favorite album. It's just, I think it's track maybe 4 or something like that.
Yeah, I like it. It's really good. I have not, like I said, have not heard a lot of Foo Fighters before, so it was cool to kind of.
I think if you wanted somewhere to start, The Color and the Shape is the album. It's their second album from start to finish, just really good. It's also got like 3 of their biggest hits, which are Monkey Wrench, Everlong, and My Hero. So it's like all the middle stuff is sort of bookmarked by their biggest hits.
Yeah. That's cool. Do you have any memories from that song, or you just like really appreciate the song and love?
Not that song in particular, but Foo Fighters, they're kind of my second favorite band after the Beatles. I've seen them pretty much every time they've come to Australia since I started being a fan, which is maybe like 8 or 9 times.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of like big pillar in my life of there's kind of like Foo Fighters around a lot of life events.
Yeah, I like it. What has been the best concert you've ever seen?
I went to see Roger Waters do The Wall, Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah.
That was incredible. They actually build the wall. It's kind of like a stage show as well as the music. So they build the wall while they play, and then by the second half, they've built the entire wall, and they're playing songs on top and in the middle and in front and everything like that. It was just incredible spectacle. Very cool.
That is really cool. I miss those bands that did stuff like that. Now I feel like guys just get up and just sing with a mic, and it's just like, you know, do something. Open your shirt up or something. Like, come on.
I love a show, but as long as there's a bit of entertainment factor as well. You know, I've seen plenty of bands, and that's I would say that's the top.
So here's a crazy question for you. You woke up tomorrow as the opposite sex. What is the first thing that you would do? You should be saying the first answer that came to your head because it's probably the dirtiest.
Well, that's the obvious answer. Yeah. Let's just assume that's the obvious answer. Anything I think I'd really want to do is like long term. I'd like to experience, you know, like what's a period like, stuff like that. Just to like, feel it, you know.
Yeah, for then,
that's
you know, when your wife complains about it, then you could be like, well, I've had that too. It's not that
I can
bad.
relate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you have any weird things, embarrassing that turns you on? Any fetishes?
Not particularly. I think that's
no.
I'll call that a pass. I'll use my free pass on that.
How about, have you ever been attracted to the same sex before?
Not really. No, I think I kind of questioned myself as a young guy because I'm not exactly the most masculine dude, but I'm definitely straight, I think.
Okay. So out of all the men out there, who would be a man crush?
Oh, I guess it's Dave Grohl, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that you participate in that. Some guys will be like, none. Right. I love the fact that
I'm not like that. Yeah, no.
It's good.
It's just I've explored it and I'm definitely straight, and it's cool if anyone else is not, but that's where I'm at.
I love it. Yeah. Right. Marianne, I like it. Ray Charles. Yeah, your playlist is like literally, most of the time people's playlist is kind of all over, but yours is truly all over. And
I just think if it's a good song, it's a good song. It doesn't matter the genre,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter the person. It's all the same 12 notes anyway, and it's just how you arrange them, really.
Yeah.
And it's just the groove is really cool on that one. I'm a big Ray Charles fan. I love the movie, his life story kind of movie, and I think that's where it sort of started. And I just kind of seek out. That's one thing within my collection of records. I love collecting Ray Charles records, and anytime I find one, I'll usually buy it because they're cheap too, which is good when you're collecting. Yeah.
You know how to play any Ray Charles on the piano?
I can do the intro to Georgia on My Mind, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So do you feel like you're going to get your son involved in music?
I'm trying to. I don't want to force him because I don't want him to associate it with something that I've been trying to sort of force him to do. But
yeah,
I think it's inevitable. It's always around. I always put on music with him. He loves the Wiggles, which of all the sort of like kids stuff, at least the music's really good.
Yeah.
Always like he's one of the first things he learned how to do. I had this little harmonica that I just sort of left lying around. He learned how to blow and suck into it and everything like that. And he has my trumpet at home that he hums into and everything.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I think it's inevitable, but once again, not going to force him.
Yeah. How old is he?
He'll be 14 months on the 29th, a couple of days from now.
Awesome. Yeah, I love and just exposure, right? Just having them have exposure to music and, having that decision. Like for us, my husband plays guitar, I play drums. So our kid went like trumpet, tried guitar, and our daughter sings. So it is what it is.
Yeah. And what worked for me
might
not work for him.
Experienced it, that they embraced it and they experienced it. And their selection of music is all over because our selection of music is all over. So I love when we're kind of sitting around a fire and I can play like really old school, like 50s, and they would know that. And then they exposed me to some crazy, it's not even gangster rap. It's like gangster extreme metal. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, as soon as you realize that you don't need to put rules on what you like to listen to, you literally open up the entire world of music to enjoy, and I can't wait to be exposed to more.
Yeah. You must love your podcast because of that, because really you kind of get to dissect a song. Maybe it's not the best song, but it still gets you exposed to a bunch of music. I sent Cribs some music the other day and he's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you guys will have to do this song. It'll be funny.
Yeah. I think the thing I enjoy most about the podcast is just that it's the funniest, like once a week having tears of laughter is just really healthy, I think. Because like they're all my mates, we're all mates, and it's just like as soon as you hit on something that's just that funny and then just start that contagious laughter, there's been a few times where we're just like the wheels completely come off,
I love it. And you guys all worked together, didn't you, at a music store?
We all worked at the same music store, not necessarily all at the same time, but at one point or another. So yeah.
That's really cool. That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Next song. So crazy. Again, just way
Dave
out
Brubeck,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of my new avenue. That's where I'm sort of like I'm getting more into jazz as I get a little bit older, and that album I just keep coming back to. It's called Take 5. It's you'd probably know the most famous song off there. What's it called? Take 5. Yeah, the Time Out's the album. Take 5's the song. It's on all the ads and everything. You see it all the time. You'd recognize it pretty quick, I reckon. But that song that I chose, the Blue Rondo a la Turk, I don't know. I just really, really like it. It's like it's in a weird time signature. It sort of evolves into this just like swing thing later. I couldn't tell you what I like about it. I wouldn't say I'm a jazz snob or anything like that because this is like Baby's first jazz record, but yeah, it's just like I think it's where I'm going.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's great. And again, just being exposed to a whole bunch of different music. We don't have to say, somebody said, oh, what do you like? I just say everything. And because generally I do like everything.
Stuff that makes me feel good.
That's right.
Yeah.
So of all the ways to die out there, what would be one you would fear the most?
Oh, all of them.
I know.
I've got a big fear of death. That's like
Do
looms over me.
Opening up a can of worms here. That's not good.
I think the worst way, I've heard drowning's pretty painful.
Yeah, I would. Yes, I would agree.
Coronavirus is obviously the big one at the moment. I read this statistic that it's like 1 in 500 Americans have died from it, and that's horrific. That's like terrifying.
Yeah, and you guys are in full lockdown, which is crazy.
Yeah, like relatively, we're a lot safer over here, but I don't know. Just any dying doesn't sound very appealing to me.
No, and you have so many animals that could kill you over there. Yeah,
I think that's greatly exaggerated. They're there, but they're just like, you have to seek them out, you know.
Yeah. If you want to go get killed by a spider, you got to go in that area or jump in the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be walking through the bush or, like out somewhere where they would be. There's like, it's not uncommon to see like snakes close to where we live and that kind of thing, but they're pretty timid. Like as soon as you get close, they'll chuff off anyway. So you'd have to be trekking through the bush and
So you're not worried about your baby getting like ate by a python then? We're good.
It's an ever-present threat, but I think we'll be okay.
So Ryan, we're at your last song. Can you believe it? It goes by so fast.
It does, doesn't it? I thought there were more.
You ready?
I could always give you more. Yep, go for it.
So like slow it down a little. I like how the last couple songs were all piano a little bit. So
yeah, isn't that funny? I didn't pick that on purpose. I mean, that's Chopin Nocturne, and this comes from. It's my comfort song. Whenever I'm feeling stressed or like overwhelmed or anything, I put that on, and it just sort of like helps a bit. And it's a funny story actually why I do that, because I had a friend who, when he was hungover, he would sit in his room in the dark with classical music playing, and I thought that was really funny. So instead of being the hangover music, it's just my it's my comfort food.
I love it.
Yeah.
So last question. I want you to really talk about your podcast, but before we do that, I just want to know, like, from words of wisdom, any adversity, stuff you went through in your life. Do you have any kind of words of wisdom that you would like to give somebody? We're listening.
Words of wisdom. First thing I thought was let it be. Speaking of words of wisdom, let it be.
That's great words of wisdom. Yeah,
I think I'll stick with that actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do your research and not in the crazy tinfoil hat sort of way. Like, it's very easy to debunk stuff. So don't believe everything you read.
No, I think it's great. Yeah. And I want you to really talk about your podcast. Like, what is it about? Where can people find you? Kind of how did it get started? Where is it evolving to? I just want to give you some time to really kind of promote yourself.
Okay. Well, it's called 1001 Songs That Make You Want to Die. We're on pretty much every podcast platform you can imagine. We basically pick a song and we dissect it and sort of discuss whether it's good or bad or deserves the hate that it gets or the love that it gets. When I say that, it's actually just an excuse to make fun of the lyrics and just joke about things and that kind of thing. It's not really anything to be taken seriously, and I don't think anyone really does, which is great. It's mostly it's an excuse to have a laugh, really.
Yeah, it's great.
Recommend writing in and suggesting a song we do and going from there. Also, if you are a big fan of the Beatles like me, you might like my band Good Rocky's Revival. We basically pick Beatles songs and we just try and accurately try and make a recreation of them with sort of our version. We do videos and stuff. It's not for money or anything like that. It's just because we really like the Beatles. So check that out. And actually, my originals band, which it's on the back burner at the moment, but you can still hear on Spotify. The band is called Blood, Guts, and Fire Trucks. It's Blood, Guts, and Fire Trucks, which I regret naming that now because people keep assuming we like death metal or something like that, but it's actually just kind of like power pop. Yeah, you can find some of my songs on Spotify. And yeah, that's the plug. That's all
I
my
love it.
stuff.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ryan, for being on Music Junkies, getting up early for We Can Do This.
No, thanks for having me. It's my dream to be asked what I think about my favorite music. So yeah.
I want to get all of you guys together. So I'm trying to get all of 4 of you done, and then we will do like all 4 of you, and that will be like really, really fun where we're just
For sure. It sounds like fun.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. Thanks for having me.